Hi, this is Valerie VanBooven, and I'm going to redo the Home Care Leads webinar. We held this webinar January 2012, and unfortunately, only the audio recorded, no video. So I am going to re-record the audio and do the webinar for you. The only thing that you'll be missing in this replay is the benefit of all the Q&A, but a lot of times, based on the questions that we had, I just kind of incorporate that in a replay whenever I have a technical glitch. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and talk about home care leads, how you get them, and what we really do behind the scenes. So on the agenda, we're going to learn the most cost-effective way to generate online leads for your home care business. So on the agenda, we're going to learn the most cost-effective way to generate online leads for your home care business. And these are some slides that I went over in a December 2011 webinar, but a couple of things I wanted to point out. And that is stop the insanity of ineffective online marketing in 2012. Things to stop doing in 2012. Now, keep in mind that if any of these things that I mention here are actually sending you good leads and you know you're getting a great return on investment, then ignore this advice, because obviously that would be a good thing to keep. But for the most part, when we talk to hundreds of home care agency owners year after year, we know that these are the things that are not getting them leads. Yellow Pages ads. People pay $700, $800, $900 a month for years on end, and in the last 2 years can only attribute a couple of leads to Yellow Pages. Other people have great lead results, but for the most part, we're hearing the other way around, that Yellow Pages is dropping off the print version, and the web version isn't that much better. Super Pages, drop it if it's not getting you leads. Banner ads, drop them if they're not getting you leads. Bad websites. If you have a website that's old, outdated, if it plays music, if it was built in 1999, you need to update your website. Every year to 2 years, believe it or not, it's always good for a little facelift on your website, and sometimes a major overhaul. Print ads that have no return on investment. If you're running a print ad in a senior newspaper or any kind of print ad period and you don't get leads from it, stop doing it. It's not worth your money. Buying leads that never convert. If you're buying leads and they are being fettered out to 4 or 5 other providers and you're never getting any return on your investment, there are some things you can do to correct that, but for the most part, if that's not the way you're going to be able to get leads, then stop paying for them. Letting a company who does not know your industry run your pay-per-click campaign. And I say this because we've talked to so many people who have come and gone from what I would call a generalist company like a Yodel or a Reach Local, in that they go to those companies, they set up a pay-per-click campaign, dump a bunch of money in it, and does the phone ring? Absolutely it rings, but guess what happens? It rings with job seekers. So be careful about who you spend your money with. We know in the home care market that job seekers are a huge problem and take up a big part of the telephone answering day. So be careful who you have running your pay-per-click campaign. Start smart online marketing in 2012. The definition of smart marketing: do something that you can measure and know exactly your return on investment. So smart things to do in 2012. Update that old website. I'm going to show you what that means. Fix your SEO, search engine optimization. That means that all the pages on your website have all the right keyword phrases. They have been designed correctly. They are favorable with Google, and they meet all the right criteria. Start a marketing program that gives you the following: real leads exclusive to your office, social media that reaches your local market, page 1 results on Google, video, video, video. I saw a quote the other day that says, if content is the king of the internet, then video is the queen. So if you've been putting the kibosh on video because you think it's too hard, or you don't want to be in front of the camera, or you don't want to do this or that, put that out of your mind, because there are all kinds of ways to get videos done that don't require a lot of work or money. Content, content, content. If you're not updating your website regularly, meaning weekly or more than weekly, then you are going to fall behind, because your competition is paying someone like us to blog post for them all the time. So you need to be adding good content all the time. And everything should be tracked and reported for you. You shouldn't have to hunt and peck for information. You should be getting your reporting. You should be able to log in, see your reporting, and get everything on the fly whenever you want it. Okay, so here's how lead generation works step by step. Number one, take a hard look at the budget and goals for 2012. Where are your current marketing dollars going? So if you tell me that you're not spending anything on marketing, but you have a $1,200 a month television ad running, then those two messages don't match up. If you really are spending money on something, that means you're looking for a return on investment. That's marketing dollars. And if they're going down the drain and you're not seeing a return on investment, you need to think about where to put those dollars in order to get a better return. Step two is look at your current website. I mean, really take a look at it. Have somebody you don't work with look at it, not an employee, but somebody else from the outside who's not in the home care business, but, ask them to look at it. What do they think? I can tell you what I think of other people's websites, and I can tell you what my 62-year-old mother thinks of a website when she looks at it, and she gives me a very straightforward opinion. And she's not in the home care industry, but she is aware of having to care for aging parents. She knows what that's like. So it's very important that you have people that are in your market look at your website and just ask them for a straight, honest opinion about it. And I bet you that you'll hear some things that you weren't aware of before. So really take a good look at your website and then take their advice and get a facelift on your website, not for yourself. Step three, build a website that converts. That means that when people come to your website, they take an action. They either pick up the phone and make a call, or they fill out a form, one or the other. That's what a conversion is. Now, another conversion would be a person who actually goes from being a lead to a client. That's a closure. But we are looking for people who actually make a move. They pick up the phone and they take an action. And then even better than that, they're a real lead and they actually close and they give you business. So those are the things we're looking for. You have to have a website that converts. A website that's gobbledygook will not convert. This is a real lead generating website. So you can see my green arrows here. You can see that the first thing people can do when they come to this website, they look at it, they see the logo, they see the message, and they see that they can pick up the phone and make a call. They can watch a video or basically fill out a form. There's some good messages here. It's not too garbled. It's pretty straightforward. And first and foremost, no matter where they go on this website, they see the phone number and a form, phone number and a form, phone number and a form. That's all we care about. Either fill out our form or pick up the phone and make a call. That's it. That's what we want people to do. This website also has tons of blog posts. You can see that in this case, this screenshot, there was one done December 5th and one done December 7th. Tons of content go into this website. Videos. We did an entire suite of 20 videos for this site. These videos talk about everything from how to pay for care to safety in the home. It's 20 questions, 20 frequently asked questions about home care. These work extremely well. They get all the questions answered that people might have, and it really adds a lot of value in Google's eyes to the website and to people who come to the website looking for information. Step 4, install tracking codes and phone numbers on your website. The only way to really know if your program is working is to record every call and note lead versus employment call. So I'm going to show you what that means. Okay, so here is a real client, a very big client, and we generated in a 90-day period from August 1 to November 1, 553 phone calls. Now, if you're working with a Reach Local or a Yodel or a generalist like that, they will easily tell you, we generated 553 phone calls for you. Isn't that great? In a 90-day period, this is what we did, and da-da-da-da-da. Or they may have a number that's even higher. But the reality is you have to know of those 553 calls, how many of them were real leads, were real people looking for real care. And we counted, we listened, we counted, and actually the person in charge of marketing listened to every call and marked them as a lead versus an employment call versus a solicitation and all kinds of hang-ups, wrong numbers, all that. And what we came up with, 112 leads in 90 days. Now that is a darn good ratio for a big ticket item like home care or assisted living. So 112 leads out of 553 calls. So when you are working with another company that's a generalist, it's not about how many times your phone rings. It's about how many of those calls were actual leads. Step 5, implement a combination of organic and pay-per-click strategies. I highly recommend this. Organic is always going to be the most important thing you could do for yourself for the long run. Pay-per-click can be a short-term, temporary, and when I mean short-term, I mean 90 days. It could be 6 months, and if it's working really well, you can leave it on forever. But organic is forever, and organic is very important. Pay-per-click can get you over the hump when you first start out. If you have a new website that doesn't have any page rank and isn't on the first page of Google, you can use pay-per-click to get yourself on the first page very quickly. And then as your website moves up in rank, you can always shut down the pay-per-click or turn the volume down on it a little bit, spend less there. So pay-per-click is adjustable up and down as needed, but organic is always going to be super important. So for organic, what I mean is that you need to have a search engine optimized website. You need to have blog posting, you need to have video blogs, and you need to have a proprietary backlinking strategy, and that's what we provide our customers. For pay-per-click, you need to have the right tracking codes and conversion codes on your website, meaning that you have to have somebody who knows what they're doing put those codes on your site. And you need to use the right keywords, which is not what you might expect. If you're doing a pay-per-click campaign, there are some very common terms in the home care industry that you do not want to use. And then you need to have the right ads. What your ads say are everything. They mean the difference between a click, a phone call, an employment call versus a real lead. So you want to make sure you have the right ads and the right keywords. Step 6 is track everything. Have a team call once per month. So your internet marketing team should be aligned with your marketing team at your office. If that's just you, that's fine, but you should be on the phone together once a month. Use a team that knows your industry inside and out, and do not use a generalist, meaning a big company that will serve plumbers, roofers, and a home care agency. Step 7, give it time. Nothing on the internet happens overnight anymore. Even pay-per-click takes time to gel, so you need to be patient and consistent. It used to be that you could throw an AdWords campaign up or throw a video out there and you were number one in a couple of hours. It doesn't happen that way anymore. You have to let things gel on the internet. You have to let things let the internet do its work. If you can have some patience, it will pay off with big rewards. Is pay-per-click worth it? We get this question a lot. And the answer is yes, if you consider the following. It must be managed by a person or a team who knows pay-per-click backwards and forwards. That's a given. Slapping up a pay-per-click campaign yourself on the internet, never a good idea. It must not be managed by a generalist group. I'm going to stick to that opinion. If I were a plumber, I would use Yodel or Reach Local in a heartbeat. But if I am a home care agency or an assisted living facility, I am not going to use a generalist group because they do not understand the dynamic. It's one thing to have a leaky faucet. That's an emergency. You need help right now, and it's not a $5,000 a month ticket. Home care and assisted living are much different than that. They're a very big ticket item. They are you're dealing with people who are overwhelmed. And they are caregivers, and they are feeling, they're having all kinds of feelings about this, and so are the people needing care. So this is a much different purchase than a plumbing or a roofer or something like that. So your website must enhance the pay-per-click campaign and work with it to increase conversions. Not just any old website will do. I would never put up a pay-per-click campaign to a website that I thought wouldn't convert. It doesn't make any sense to have people click on your ads and then get to your website and go, ew. So there's no reason to waste money on pay-per-click if you don't have the right website. You must be able to track and calculate conversions and leads. No doubt about it. Good or bad, you got to know what your return on investment is. Other important components of lead generation that I didn't talk about in this video are videos, which I did mention, but you can do them a bunch of different ways. Blog posts, you always have to have those. Social media accounts, I'm a big fan of social media, always have been. That's the way we started. That's how we butter our bread here. And social media is very important and always will be. Google Places. If you're not in the 7-pack, meaning you're not in the top 7 on the maps for your local area, you should be. You are missing out on calls and revenue. So you need to hire somebody to make you work your way up to get to the first page. Avoiding follow-up failure. I've talked about that in the past. We implement a strategy that we call lead care so that every time that form is filled out on your website, that person is always receiving information from you until they opt out. Participating at some level. You have to expect that with internet marketing, you can't just set it and forget it anymore. It used to be that you could hire a team, slap up a website, and some leads and phone calls would roll in. And that's not the case anymore. This is a very complicated and managed piece of your marketing strategy. So you need to be aware of it and take that into consideration when you hire somebody to do your internet marketing. You have to be in communication with those people. And it doesn't mean every day, but just, on a regular basis, you need to participate. And then reporting. You should expect reporting on a monthly basis at a minimum. Lead care and follow-up failure. I mentioned this. I'm going to talk about it just briefly. Your social media and internet efforts are working, so how do you avoid follow-up failure? This is a difference, at least can, bring a 10% increase in revenue if you avoid follow-up failure. So here's the example I always use. A prospect calls the office, they're put into a database, they're mailed some information, they speak to some knowledgeable person in the office, they ask about pricing, they say they'll call back in a few days after they've had time to review the materials, and they never call back. They've got sticker shock. They thought Medicare would pay for all this, right? And they'll try for 6 months to do it as a family, care for their aging loved one, and the lead is lost in a sea of insanity in the office, and that's what we call a fail, because that lead will eventually... This is what happened. They will eventually end up with someone else. They never do call back because they do have sticker shock and they do try for 6 months to do this as a family, care for their aging loved one. And the lead is lost in a sea of insanity in the office. But another provider they called that day took the time to put that person on their e-newsletter list and sent them an invitation to connect on their blog, Facebook biz page, and more. And 6 months later, your competition is serving the client and has established trust, credibility, and rapport with the family. So just collecting a couple of easy pieces of information like an email address is really important. And having an e-newsletter that goes out and is done for you that you never have to touch if you don't want to is also very important. And that's something we build into all of our programs. Lead care for consumers. Of course, I've just talked about all this. They connect with you in an informative and friendly way. You grow your fan base, and you are there when the daughter, wife, sister, niece, daughter-in-law, or family needs you. Same rule applies to referral partners. If you have professionals in your community that you want to have refer to you or do refer to you, put them in your e-newsletter list. Make sure that you're connecting with them on a regular basis. This is a slide that I just like to show at the end of our webinars. It shows a difference in when you do things right and when you're not exactly doing things right. So this is a comparison, August 1 again through November 1. That's a 90-day period. And what you see here is that from August 1 to November 1, this company got 5,919 visits. Now, this is a big company, so not everybody's going to have that many visits. But if you look at the previous 90 days, April 30th through July 31, before we were the service provider for this company, they had 24 visits. They had 113 page views. So just by doing things the right way and by getting them to the point where they have lots and lots of good content, and everything this company does is natural. They do not do pay-per-click, at least not during these periods of time they didn't. So this is a very, very good result for having things done right with a very managed internet marketing program and being in good communication with the staff there. And we did not have Q&A for this one because we did have Q&A actually, but this is a recorded replay. I had to re-record it because the audio and the video did not sync up correctly in our original recording. If you have more questions, here's what I want you to do. You can email George Novison at ltcep.com and talk to him, or me, Valerie, at ltcep.com, and I'm probably going to refer you to George, so you might want to just call George or email him. You can call us at 888-404-1513. Visit our website. You can see some of our proprietary backlinking strategies there at ltcsocialmark.com or myseniorservice.com. And we look forward to working with you. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate. We always give free consultations, and we help you know more about what your competitive market looks like and where you should be spending your money. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.